Hey, how's everybody doing today? I got some updates going on in the fish room. I got some breeding going on behind me, and I bought some new stuff online that just came in the mail yesterday. I'm waiting to do a video on it. But before we get started, go down below. Please like this video if you like it by the end, and also please subscribe. I'm trying to get 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you guys aren't already subscribed, I really appreciate that. Go hit the subscribe and notification bell. But we're gonna see what I got in the mail, and also let's look behind me what's going on tonight. So really cool, I got my German Blue Ram breeding tank. I've showed these guys before. I added a big like stud male German Blue Ram in here, and you can see I just pulled the flower pot from the back right. We're gonna sneak up on these guys. We got some breeding behaviors going on. They're breeding on this little broken piece of clay pot, and I checked for eggs when I got home because they were sitting right over it, but there was nothing there. Maybe 2 hours later, check out all of those eggs on that little piece of flower pot. So the male's looking really good. I just got a nice picture of him the other day. And he was just sitting right in the middle of the tank, kind of showing off to all his females. Right now I typically do about 2 males and 4 to 6 females. But I'm switching it up. I really want to breed this male. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 nice conditioned females in here. And he is doing a great job. It's his second time breeding in this new tank. And there's tons of eggs in there. I'm very excited to hatch those and have my next generation of German Blue Rams. So that's some pretty cool, exciting stuff. But let's go ahead to what the main topic of this video is. I got it right here, is my marine hang on. Sorry for me shuffling the camera, but you know I kind of just shoot stuff as I go. So not a whole lot of editing going on. But bam, there we have it right there. So I have 2 of these running on different aquariums with some guppy fry. But right here, I just got this in. I know it's backwards with the camera shot, but these are really cool. It's a little hang on box. It sits on the outside of the tank. You plug into an air stone, and what it does is it blows air bubbles up and actually pulls water through the stem of the filter, I guess you call it, and it pulls water into the box, and then it overflows back to the aquarium. So this is a great way if you only have a few tanks or you have some small fish you want to kind of keep separate and grow them out. You pull the babies once they have them in here. Once you have them in the tank, catch them, put them in the breeder box. And it's a great little specimen container that stays heated from the heated tank, and it'll keep cycling new water in, and it's just really cool. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna show you which tank we're putting this on today. It's gonna be going down here on this 20-gallon tank. So this tank here, I have a pair of red deltas. So you can see the male right there, and there's some fry in here, but I actually got a little bit eager and I put the pair in. These fry are from a different female. So I do not want them growing up with this pair. I'm not sure where the female is right now. I have some plecos growing out. There's the female over here. She's nice and big. She's probably gonna have fry here shortly. So I need to make sure I get them separated from these other babies. So I'm gonna pull these babies out. We're gonna set the box up. He's chasing around. They're obviously breeding. And all these plecos are doing really well since I did a big cleaning. I got those long fins in here. I got some commons that carry the long fin gene, but this tank's doing really well. I have an extra air stone up in this tank, so I have already another connection where I'm gonna pull that out. I'm gonna bring it down to the bottom tank so I have some extra length to the hose. And this tank's fine, it's already cycled on the sponge filter. And these rams will be moving over to the 55. So right here I have some for sale. Hopefully I can sell some to the store, and I have a couple going out in the mail, and I'm also meeting some local sales. I did a kind of a promotional local sale where I'm selling these rams, these angels. I think I just posted them on Craigslist, and I got like 5 or 6 texts overnight. So hopefully get my numbers down on those. I can sell this tank out, move those rams over so they're not so crammed in this 20-gallon tank. I can pull that air stone and that air tubing down to the bottom tank, and we're gonna go ahead, let's go set this box up. I'm gonna throw my phone on my little selfie stick stand. I've been using a lot recently. It kind of helps me multitask in my videos so I can use both hands and get some work done without holding the camera. But let's go ahead. I'm going to set this box up and show you how it works. And we're going to catch those fry out. Alright guys, I'm just kind of opening this up for the first time. I've talked about this before on different videos. I did like a breeding for profit video. But anything you buy in the fish room or for your fish tanks, especially when you're trying to breed fish for profit, try to make sure you can justify any cost. So it's really tempting, especially if you're doing it for a little while and you're starting to make money. You want to go ahead and you want to spend that money. Try not to, and if you do, make sure it can justify itself. So my reason for this, I'm basically going to get the whole second aquarium out of this tank specifically. I believe I bought this online. I know I bought it off Amazon. Anything I'm using in the video, I always post in the description. I know when I'm watching videos and I like something randomly, I'm like, oh, I wonder where they got that. And I usually don't want to ask the person. If I do, I normally won't get an answer right away. But I post all that stuff in the description. But this was $8, and I know I have way more than 8 fry in that tank, and I know where to put them. So if I can grow them out and put them in this container right here, it's really cool actually. It's got 3 different chambers. So if I want to separate things, I could. And it just looked really cool. They got little clips here on the side. So I guess if you had a stronger fish in there, so you were kind of doing African cichlids and you had to kind of put someone in timeout, you could put them in something like this, pull the dividers, and put those clips on so they can't hit off the top. But me talking about justifying the cost for this, like I said, it was only $8. If I can sell these fish for at least $1 each, right there I got maybe 20 bucks. Easily justifies the cost of this. And I could even go further and say you're selling your fish for $10 a pair or something if you're breeding something fancy and you need to maximize your tank space. Very easily will justify its cost. They have these little trays here for where the water goes out so you don't lose fish. There's a smaller one and a larger one. See, the fry are still pretty small. We'll go with the smaller one for there. Any extra pieces I'm tossing in the box I'm not using now. We got a little down tube. They have these things that go on the bottom. So whenever it's on the tank, it's not aiming like this and losing water out the back. It's gonna hold it straight up. So you put those on the bottom. I've used these a couple of times. And I've used big ones like this, but I haven't bought any in a long time, or I don't have any still of this size. So I'm kind of excited to get this on there. It's way bigger than your standard one that's like maybe that big and not as deep. So it's a nice size box right there. But I'll try to put this together quick. I don't want to take too much time sitting down here showing this view. There's a down stem with a little pre-filter. You put your tubing on that. And then on the top where it shoots out, this will sit down. And then this I lost on one of mine, and I wish I didn't know what the piece was. This is so when the air is pushing the water out, it actually drops down. It's not splashing everywhere. It's going to give you more of a stream. So that'll go aiming down on the inside. This will go on that, slide up in there, and you can go down far. A little bit higher, you'll get less resistance and you get better flow. And then they give you a little piece of tubing. I have tubing, but you're going to have to cut it anyways and put a little pressure valve on there so you can judge how much how much air comes out from the air pump. And I run a real big air pump, so I want to make sure I have that on there. It'll slide down through this little hole in the side and then plug in right there. So pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead, we're going to catch out the fry from the tank. I'm going to give a container, and then we're going to hook this up, and then I'm going to let it slowly fill. So I'm going to dump the fry in there in the container, and then I'm going to show you this filling up and what it really looks like. And I'm excited about this. I mean, it's something real simple, but like I said, breeding for fish, you always run out of space if you're doing a good job and your things are multiplying. You run out of space in a hurry. So this is cool. It's going to help me make this tank a little bit bigger, help me keep those fry, not mix my 2 strains, and it's a really cool box. I mean, like I said, it's only $8. So if you don't have one of these or you want to try them out, I don't like having females in here to drop fry. It stresses them out. They don't normally have their babies. But if they have the babies in the tank, you can go ahead, catch them out, put them in here, make sure they don't get eaten days later. And also you can grow up different generations of babies. So I can grow them up to a certain size, and then maybe I sell some fish from a tank, and now these are bigger, I can move them in there. They've probably had babies again by then, I'll fill it up again, repeat that cycle. And this is a good way if you're just starting out and you only have maybe a tank, and you're waiting to do those extra 3 tanks or so, especially if you saw my video. I talked about breeding for profit, starting up small. You could get 1 tank, outgrow it with all your fish, and buy 3 more and have a set of 4. So you have like a breeder tank, a fry tank, and then like a male-female sale tank, and then you can bring those back to breed babies, repeat that cycle, and then you have yourself a little business and at least support the hobby. But this is a way I can kind of add this to a tank before I go ahead and dive into the whole setup. Or say you outgrow your setup and you don't want to get more tanks. This will easily justify the cost versus buying another heater, tank, filter, all that extra stuff. This is kind of an in-between step where you just buy this and maybe an air pump if you don't have it, and some air tubing. So all in all, you can do this and an air pump for probably easily 20 bucks, and that'll always pay for itself. So don't make money selling fish, make 50 bucks, 100 bucks over maybe a month or maybe 6 months. It may take you a lot longer on just selling fish to the pet store, things like that. And then you go buy a pair of angelfish for $100 online. Now you're back in the hole. You have more projects, and then you have more tanks you need to withstand those new fish. So I really try not to do that. I know a lot of people breed the fish so they can buy that, and that's great. That's a goal. Always have a goal in mind. Then that's fine. That's perfectly fine doing that. But if you're trying to do it and you want to make money in it, set a plan, stick to it, and then if you're going to buy stuff along the way like this, make sure you can justify it. So I'm going to put this on there. I'm going to catch those fry out, and let's take a look at that. Here are all those guppies from that tank. So I caught them all out. They're hanging on here in a little container. Let's pull my flashlight out here, and we'll take a closer look at some of them. I actually counted, there may be more, but I think I have 33. The way I did that was not any speedy math. I took a picture of the container and then I counted them all in the photo. That's a little trick. If you want to see how many fish or how many eggs are in a spawn or fish that have been born, take a photo of them and then you can go ahead and count without having to worry about fish moving around, losing track. That's a real easy way to do it. But I got my hang-on box all set up here. It's looking pretty good. I did test it, and I plugged in the air tubing. I cut off some tube right there, and that goes all the way up the back to the top wall where I have my air pump running, and that's really nice. So it's going to filter all my tanks with sponge filters by blowing air into them. And also, if I ever have a power outage, that water can't siphon out. Say you have an air pump on your floor and it tanks up top. Say a sponge filter is run by a pump and the pump was down here. If you don't have a check valve and then your power goes out, it's going to create a siphon. The water is going to go up that tube, and if it makes it over the lip of the tank, and then if it goes down, you're essentially going to drain your tank down to the level of that air tube, and you're going to lose 10 plus gallons of water all on your floor, which would be a nightmare, and it's going to ruin your air pump. So always make sure you have a check valve if you're using one of these, or any air pumps in general, or keep the pump above the water level of the tank. So let's go ahead. I'm going to put my camera back on the stand. Let's connect this and let's put all our fish in there, and we'll kind of see what the tank looks like. So like I said, I have everything set up. My tubing's already blowing some air. So I'm going to go ahead and connect this to the valve, and right away, hopefully you can see it's blowing air bubbles right here, going up the tube, and then it's going to force water out, and this little valve is going to help push it down. So it's going to help oxygenate that water there. I'm going to kind of hide this tubing and even lift it off the tank, hide it back there. And I'm going to pull everything aside so it looks kind of somewhat nice and neat. And now that's going to slowly fill that whole container up. Once it fills, there's an overflow over here with the screen. It'll go back into the aquarium. I might have to add a little container of water to the tank to fill it back up, because essentially I'm going to lose this much water volume from the tank. So if I had a hang-on filter on the back, say you're doing this at home, you're going to lose maybe a half gallon of water, depending on how big it is. and it's going to lower your tank. You don't want your heater sticking out of the water, or just having that water level lower, especially at home. For me, it's not going to really affect anything. But before that fills up, I'm going to go ahead and dump my fry in there. So whenever it fills up, it's already ready to go. It's kind of speed that process up. And while I'm pouring them in, it might start to overflow. If I waited till it was full, I just have to dump them really slow, and it's kind of annoying. So dump them in there, and it worked perfectly. It's right before the overflow. I'm gonna kind of rinse this out because I have a piece of moss there. I want to go in with the fry. There's a few snails in there. They can go in too, or back into the tank, but it really doesn't matter. I have just a bunch of snails in the tanks. They're kind of just like almost like a nuisance snail, but they help clean any extra food in the tank, and just another cleanup crew. But there you have it. I mean, it's pretty much all ready to go. So you can see that's what it's gonna look like. And I mean, they work awesome. I've already used them, so I don't need to test this product. They don't work good for breeding, but they work great for separating and growing fish. And I absolutely know I'm gonna get my money's worth out of this. And I think it looks just kind of cool. I mean, granted, if it's like a show tank behind us, it's not gonna look awesome on the front, but they look really clean. I mean, it's a very clear plastic, which sounds kind of stupid, but whenever you're into fish, little things like that, I'd like having little kind of fidgets and gadgets for the fish room, especially something like this that only cost me $8. I got free shipping on it. So there you have it right there. That's what it's gonna look like. I'm gonna go ahead and put my lid on top so now the fry can jump out. It fits the shape of the water intake and then the flowing out. And it also has a little feeding hole that I can feed them without having to take it off every single morning. And I can just drop food right in there. But it's working really well so far. I mean, it already has good airflow, and you can see how it's already flowing out right there, a little stream. So it's very gradual. It's going to constantly cycle them. You don't want that too strong. It's just going to flow them around, and when you add food, if it's floating food, it's going to get sucked out right away. But I'll be feeding them some live foods that'll stay in the container. I actually can do that right now. If you guys want to hang tight for 1 second, I'll get some brine shrimp and we'll feed these guys. I got my brine shrimp all prepped up. It's actually the end of the night, so I'm running out of brine shrimp. So whatever's left over at the end of the night, I'm just going to dump it for the next day and restart it. But I put some flashlights on it to make it a little more visible. But we're going to slowly baste her in that food. And it's always hard to get a shot of this. I did a video like a month or two ago feeding brine shrimp. You really couldn't see much at all. I'm hoping right here we'll be able to get a better shot, and I'll zoom in. But I don't want to stir the water up. I'm just going to slowly drip this brine shrimp in there. And hopefully these guys will start feeding right away because they're not really going through any stress. That's another benefit of having this hang-on box. You're using the same water that they just came from, the same temperature, pH, everything. No variables really change. You see it, one fry is really diving down after it. They're starting to seed in there, and they're picking at it. But they're not having to adjust to any water changes. So it's the same exact water they were in 2 minutes ago. And I'm still just slowly putting this in the container. There's the last bit of it. We can zoom in on them. But hopefully they're going to feed on it for us. I'm sure they will. And this is a way that they're going to be able to feed, and the food's not going to get sucked out right away. So let's see. Yeah, you definitely can focus in on those dots and see them shaking around. That's all live food, and that'll float in there for quite some time. Granted, some's going to get to the overflow and go back to the main tank, and that'll feed the adults. But these guys are definitely going to feed on it. Let's find one guppy and let's follow him. So let's find this guy right here. Let's watch him, see what he does. You'll see their mouth kind of jolt when they find one. There, he took a little bite. Bite, bite. There's a couple more. There he goes, just feeding down. See if we can catch any in the light. There he goes. Bam, bam. Pretty cool. I mean, if you actually look at your fish and get a close watch and you watch them feed, it's super cool to watch them feed on live food. So good for their health, but it's also really fun to watch. Let's see. I'm trying to watch myself, not through the camera, but above it. but they're doing really well. I'm super happy with this. I've been waiting for this to come in the mail, and I've been waiting to set it up. Let me turn around and talk for a real quick second. So just a little bit of an update, kind of what's going on. Finally got that up and running. I wanted to show you guys, ways you can invest your money on the fish room. That it's like an investment. Say you got $10, you want to make you $20, whether you're putting it in a stock or you're gonna go, I don't know, anything. You want to go buy salt and then go salt the neighbor's driveway, charge them $20 or something like that. Any type of work. This is a way you can kind of invest your money in the fish room and make it back, not just buy something cool to have it and then you're basically, that's the end of the road. You got a product and you paid for it. So that's something you can buy and reinvest. More of an update on the fish room. I showed you those rams are breeding. I did just ship fish on Monday. It is now Wednesday or Thursday. It's Thursday. So I do 2 to 3 day shipping. The fish arrived on Wednesday and I was answering emails, sent them 2 boxes. One did awesome, one did not. So I'm kind of bummed out. I mean, it really was disappointing because I think it was the shipping's fault. It came in a different box. I told them to hold it at the post office. I had it well labeled, live fish, hold, call, please do all this stuff. And I've done this many times. It always works out great. But I like to share what's really going on because I was excited to do, I did a shipping video. I recorded the whole thing, I edited it. I was gonna do a kind of a finishing up video today and do another clip of me talking, tell you what happened, really kind of reveal to you guys what he got, what I sent, how I did it, and how you can do it too. And I didn't want to do it until the fish arrive healthy and doing well. It's really cold here in Pennsylvania, so I shipped them out. It was cold, but I talked to them. The fish are in the post office. They go on the truck. They go to the next post office. They drive them overnight. They're in the truck. They're never outside, and then they pick them up, and it works out every time. It always goes great. But the one box, they delivered it. So he's at his house. He has the one box. They're doing good. He's waiting for a phone call for the second box, and he never gets it. And then they show up at his house, and he's ready for it because he's home. He gets it, and the box is just bad. I mean, there's a sticky note on the box saying possibly damaged from the post office. So I don't know if that's a driver in the car and did something wrong, and then they put that on there. So now I'm going through a process trying to get reimbursed, and I'm sending out more fish because that's just good customer service. I mean, it's not really my fault. It's definitely not his fault, but he doesn't have the fish that he paid for. I could refund him, but I have more of the fish. He ordered 4 bristlenose plecos, which is the first time I ever sold them online or ever. I've never bred them and sold them. This is the first time I did that. I've sold many plecos online. I double bagged them. I fasted them. They had their heat pack. But long story short, something went wrong. Now I have to send those 4 more plecos out, take the loss on that, and now I have to try to find out a way to get reimbursed through their insurance policies, which is, I know it's going to be a hassle. I don't know if it's really worth the time, but I want to go through the process. I want to learn, but I don't know really where I'm going with this. I wanted to talk about the box. I want to show the rams breeding because I spotted that tonight, and I want to just give an update on the fish room, and that's kind of what's going on with me in the update. So I'm still going to do that shipping video. I already recorded it. I took a long time doing it. At least it takes a long time to bag fish. So whenever you're thinking about things to sell in the fish room and what it's going to cost you and what you're going to make, always include your time. So whenever someone tells you how much shipping costs, and then some people are like, oh, it only costs $13, $15 a ship priority. Why are you charging me $20? And I charge $20 for the shipping. And honestly, it should be more because it doesn't include the materials. I have to buy the heat packs, the styrofoams. I have to actually catch the fish. I have to spend time on it. I have to drive them to the post office. I have to print the labels or write the labels. I have to answer emails. Emails is very important whenever you're doing this. So there's a lot of time that goes into one single sale. And I do enjoy it. It's worth it. But just keep that in consideration. And whenever you're a buyer, understand where it's coming from and what they have to do to get it from their tank to your fish tank. There's a lot that gets, there's a lot of involvement, and it takes time, and time is money. So that's kind of my little bit of rant. I'm disappointed that UPS didn't read the package right, and I sent 2 boxes. You get 2 boxes identical with my address, his address, the notes, everything on there was exactly the same. The fish order was on both boxes, same amount of water, same heat pack, same species of fish. It was rams in both boxes, plecos in the one. And I was more worried about the box full of rams versus the one with the plecos. They have a much bigger bag. It's because I double bag them, so there's no chance of popping. They have more water, they have a lot of air, and there's only 2 fish per bag. The other fish have 1 fish, but it's a much smaller bag and it's a breather bag. So sometimes they can get popped, which doesn't really happen. I make sure that there are a lot of slack in the bag, so it's not real tight where they can pop it easily. But that's kind of what's happening. I'm kind of bummed out about that, but I wanted to tell you guys and let you know that there is a shipping video coming out, how to sell fish online, from answering the emails to getting the address, how to label the box, which I have to take some improvements. I guess I gotta make it a lot more obvious to hold fish, please call, don't take them to the door, make sure they pick them up at the post office. If you order live animals, that's what they do. They take them straight to the business and they make you sign for them, or they have you pick them up. So that's normal policy. But I have to make sure that I maybe highlight it, maybe do it in bold, maybe print it out and do a couple labels on the box. But I don't know if I just wanted to show you this. I don't want to bum you guys out, but I do want to let you know there's a video coming out, and you guys' support means the world. I'm still selling the fish. The website's doing good. It's in early stages with kind of traffic flow coming in. I'm starting to get more emails every day. I get a lot of comments on my videos. I try to answer as many as I can, or at least read them, and I'll like them. Try to let you guys know that I am involved. I'm checking them out. Trying to do daily videos as much as I can. Things come up. Sometimes you got to upload a video. It takes way longer. You got to push it the next day. You work late. There's always different things going on in the fish room, but let's just focus on the fish. Let's get back to, there's a lot of other things going on that's out of your control. At the end of the day, it's still all about the fish and about your enjoyment in the hobby. So thanks for watching, guys. Go in the description, go down on the before there, like it, subscribe to the channel, read the description. I'll post those products in there that you guys can check them out. And I'll have my email if you guys are looking for fish. If you have questions or you wanted me to do a certain video, you can go ahead and do that. But you guys will be notified if you hit the notification bell when that next video comes out. And sorry, battery's running low. I gotta wrap this up. Hit the notification bell and you'll know when that shipping video comes out. It's still a great video, and I've done the same process 10 times in a row without changing a single thing. Early on, I kind of tweak things here and there. Different fish get different bags, things like that. How many fish I can fit in a box. And there's a lot, like I said, I'm getting sidetracked, but stay tuned, get notified, like, subscribe. Another video's coming out. I'm doing a tank number 8 update, and that shipping video's coming out. Let me know what else you want to see. Might be doing a video on these rams that are breeding right now. I got some clips of them spawning on the rocks, which is pretty cool, on their flower pot. But let's wrap it up. Thank you guys, and keep watching more of my videos. I appreciate it so much, and have a good day.